evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 18, DJI Mavic 4 Pro, 1 week to release. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Got a full house already. You guys are really on the spot. Akarasho, Drone Shots, Josh. Let's see who else we got. Waypoint New England, Joe America, Lauren is here, Trini is here. Good to see you, Trini. Let's see who else we got. Trying to move my scroll bar down. Let's see. Johnny is here. Michael Wright is here. Let's see who else. Casey Crime Fighter, welcome, my friend. Let's see who else. Captain Ray is here. Welcome. Let's see who else we got. Oh, Michael Wright, new house. Congratulations on that. Lynn Smith, welcome. Checking in from the UK. I know it's late over there. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Okay. I actually got some updates here. Val's been doing real well. I know some of you guys have asked, so I wanted to pass that on. I think we're kind of where we can manage things for her. So she's doing real well. Driving her car, everything's going real well there. For me though, next week we'll be live, but the week after that you will be watching a pre-recorded episode because I'll be having my major dental surgery on the 16th this month, 3 days after the release. And it's going to be a full mouth extraction. They're going to put in 5 implants on the top, 6 on the bottom. I'm going to get temporaries in for probably 3 to 4 months. As far as those are concerned, and then permanents will come in probably in about 4 or 5 months. So kind of really appreciate your thoughts, prayers, and well wishes regarding all that. I'm just a little apprehensive. I'm probably going to be losing some weight because my diet's going to be things like applesauce, ice cream, mashed potatoes, soup is another good thing. Oatmeal is a good thing. I really like sorbet, so I'm been stocking up on some stuff. I can have like fine noodles, which you really don't have to chew, so that's going to be in the rotation as well. So I'm going to try to be creative with what I can have and trying to stock up. Also got some Jello, so we're kind of going there. So yeah, a little apprehensive about it, but I got a great dentist, oral surgeon. Really feel very confident in him. He's had some outstanding reviews. Really great guy. We really like him. So we're all set. And yeah, it's going to be, I'm going in about 7:30 on the 16th. Should be done noonish, 1 o'clock-ish. And then I'm going to stay ahead of the curve as far as the pain management is concerned. I reached out to some people on an implant group, and I told them what I'm going to be doing for pain management. It's going to be every 6 hours, I'm going to be taking something, and it's going to be like 4 200 milligrams of ibuprofen. And then there's an ice pack that actually fits around your head. I'm going to order like 4 of those. Plus, I have a bag of frozen peas and corn that I'm going to alternate with as well. Everybody said that's real important. You do that, you're really going to minimize your discomfort and any kind of, getting black and blue from it as well, too. So really appreciate your prayers for all that. Okay. All right. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Big week next week, and we're going to get to that here in a minute. Ron's going to join me here in just a few. But I had to share this, okay? Through the miracles of AI, there are these 2 guys that you will not have any problems going to the South Florida drone meetup with these 2 guys right here. I guarantee you that. Captain Ray Kelly and Johnny Drone Flyer. You don't mess with them, okay? And this is why. This is their alternate egos here, so to speak. So, but I know, I don't know if it was Johnny or Ray, having some fun with that. This is awesome. I just absolutely love that. Wanted to share that with you guys. I think it's fantastic. I really like that. Kudos. I think Johnny, you might have done it. Kudos to you. This is great. This is absolutely fantastic. So, oh, and Johnny, I want to thank you for the poster. I did finally end up getting it snail mail from Louisiana to Texas to God only knows where to get down here to Florida. So go figure, the U.S. Postal Service. Yeah, no disrespect to anybody who works for them. Just, it was, yeah, Pony Express the wrong way for a while. So, okay. Actually do have some things to talk about tonight before the, before we talk about the Mavic 4 Pro. Yeah, let's slip in my tongue here. So, let's see here first what we got. All right. There's some Insta360 news, both their new camera and then DJI has a 360. We're going to take a look, at, well, DJI is more prototype, but first we're going to take a look at Insta360 here. And there's an article here that compares the X5 versus X4. Sensor showdown, X5 sees more, low light, no problem. Reframe your reality even before you hit record. Built for the wild. Better audio, no wind drama. Power throughout your day. And here's a comparison between the two. It looks like it's about $50 more. Sensor size looks to be a little bit better. The processor looks to be a little better. Still 8K at 30 frames per second. Additional video mode still the same. Pure video mode for low light. Instaframe flat 360 in one shot, which is interesting. Waterproofing without case 49 feet. Waterproofing with dive case 197 feet. Replaceable anti-scratch lens, removable lens guard. Built-in wind guard, AI noise reduction, 185 minutes battery life, 135 with the other one. Fast charging, 80% in 20 minutes, not specified. Weight, 185 grams, 203 grams. Okay, so those of you who are considering that, gives you some things to compare with as far as that's concerned. I do know from people that have had them, I don't have an Insta360 camera. It's kind of a pain in the butt to put this stuff together after you film it. So that's what I've heard. I'm just going by that, and it takes some processing power to do that. So just be forewarned if this is something that is going to be something you're going to be interested in. Okay. Dr. Ted, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Okay. I thought I had that article up here. Evidently I don't. Okay. Well, this was a really good article, and I really appreciate it when Drone DJ and Drone XL put some articles up there about drone use. And this was a really good one here, and something you want to bookmark this article. It's out on Bill of Drone Reviewer Facebook group. Why DJI drone batteries drain themselves. Understanding DJI drone intelligent flight battery self-discharge. DJI Neo, your everyday 4K buddy. Battery discharge behavior to 3 days, it drops to 96. 15 days to 80. 45 days, it rests at 60. Okay. DJI Flip after 3 days, 96. 15 days, 80%. 45 days, 60%. Avata 2 after 3 days down to 96. After 9 days down to 60. Avata for the FPV, 1 day it drops to 96. After 5, 60. Mini 2 through Mini 4K for 1 day drops to 96. After 9 days hits 72%. Mini 3 and Mini 3 Pro, 1 day down to 96%. 9 days down to 60. Mini 4 Pro, 3 days 96. 9 days 60. Air 3, excuse me. After 3 days down to 96. After 9 days hits 60. Air 3S, after 3 days down to 96. After 15 days hits 80. After 45 days drops to 60. Air 2S after 1 day 96. After 9 days 60. Mavic Air 2. Mavic 3 series. Mavic 2 series. Mavic Pro. 10 days 65%. Inspire 1. Inspire 2. Inspire 3. Quick tips to keep your DJI drone batteries happy. Store at room temperature. Don't leave them fully charged for weeks. Excuse me, guys. I check firmware updates. Use them at least every couple of months. Charged to around 60% for long-term storage. Okay. All right. These are some great tips, and I think this is good to bookmark this. And you can see why some of those multi-battery chargers, like I've had and I've reviewed and you've seen on the channel that I've reviewed, stored at 60%. That seems to be a real sweet spot for a lot of these batteries. But this is an excellent guide, especially if you have some of the legacy drones. It'll really kind of help you gauge percentages and know where things are. And kudos to Drone DJ for putting out an article like this. I think it's great when they do that. I think it's good. So you have a feel for where things are at. So, kind of like this is something I would, kind of put this in for your memory. You may want to cut. What I do a lot of times with these really great articles, I'll take a screen print. I'll maybe print it off. My printer will work with screen prints, and it does those are good things, and have a folder for things like this, just to have on hand. So, or you could take a screen grab and just have it in another folder on your PC. So, okay, all right. Well, there's a new kid on the block as far as a company out of the United States making drones, and a Silicon Valley drone startup just stepped out of stealth mode, and it's coming straight for DJI's throne. Santa Clara based SciFly has unveiled 2 powerful new drones that promise to do what DJI's commercial lineup can't fly longer, carry more, and meet U.S. government security standards. Okay. SciFly's Q12 and Q250 could become go-to platforms for industries and public safety departments looking for alternatives to Chinese-made drones. Both platforms are NDAA compliant, making them eligible for government and defense-related contracts, a growing concern as U.S. lawmakers push to limit DJI's roles in for sensitive drone operations here. Leading the lineup is a SciFly Q12 above, which offers an astonishing 2-hour hover time and up to 3 hours in forward flight. That's a 90-mile operational range while carrying a 10-pound payload. Perfect for critical BVLOS missions like infrastructure inspection and emergency response. The real game changer may be the Q250, a heavy lift drone capable of carrying 200 pounds for over 90 minutes. And you read that right, 200 pounds. SciFly said this drone can replace helicopters in roles like agricultural spraying, fire suppression, and remote logistics, all at a fraction of the cost. Unlike DJI drones, which typically require multiple batteries and have strict limits on range due to regulatory and power constraints, SciFly's drones are purpose-built for long-endurance missions, all while staying tethered to a cloud-based AI system for real-time data delivery and testing, delivered live agricultural insights using onboard AI and connected data systems here. Company's also pushing its drones as a future of drone as first responder programs. Because of long flight times, SciFly drones can cover more ground without relying on expensive and complex dock networks, reducing DFR operational costs by over 90%. Okay. Deliveries of Q12 will begin in the fourth quarter this year. SciFly is actively demonstrating the drones to public agencies and private firms across the U.S. It was founded in 2021. And there's no information regarding pricing on that. So that gives you some food for thought as far as another company to enter the space. I mean, they talk a lot about, the ability to carry payloads, weight, things like that, but actual specs and performance and things, do they have thermal cameras on them for first responders? What kind of, controller do you use? They're claiming some incredible times up there and incredible payloads. So I think that's something that we can look forward to. Ron, how are you, sir?
I think I've got a bad connection here. I'm not really hearing you, Bill.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay. You're good now. Now.
Okay.
I think I had a bad connection for a second. How are you tonight?
Good. We just went over and just talked about SciFly, the American drone company. And, it boasted some pretty good specifications out there, kind of on the light side, but really I'm, wanting to see more and hear more about this because there's not really, I know they've been talking about it, but there really hasn't been a lot of material on it.
I'm still having breakup problems, Bill. I'm going to go out and come back in again.
Okay. Yeah, Casey. I'm the same way. I like the idea and the concept of sci-fi. I just don't know if where the price point's going to be on something like this. These may be $5,000 plus kind of drones. I don't know, and again, there's so much that's unknown about them. I would love to find out more. I mean, this is a good article and it's a good step, and I think there's a link to a YouTube video out there as well. So we'll kind of see where all that goes. I don't know where we're going with that. So we'll see. John, welcome. Good to see you too. In tonight. And Art, I didn't mention you. Art, welcome. Thanks for stopping by, of course, always. So that's a possibility. We'll see where things are as far as that's concerned. So here's Ron. Let's see if we can pop him in again. How's that, Ron?
I can hear you much better this time. It must be some kind of a glitch.
Well, good. We're glad to get you here. We just spent a few minutes talking about SciFly, the American drone company,
Right.
and some of their they have 2 drones. One's going to be released fourth quarter this year. One could carry up to a 200-pound payload. Just incredible, statistics and performance already with that. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And I think a lot of people, there's one YouTube video out there. Of course, a lot of people would like to see more on that. And then the other thing is nothing was mentioned regarding pricing on that at all.
No. And obviously these are enterprise level products or whatever.
Right.
It's just my fear the whole time. These new American companies are going to be more centered towards enterprise and higher end drones. So if we push DJI on the marketplace and the American companies come in and they're not really interested in consumer grade drones, it leaves us in a bad spot.
Exactly. And, that's what I was, because our Casey Crime Fighter was saying, he might be interested because obviously, he goes out, he has a different purpose for his flying, and they may suit his purpose. But, these drones may start around $5,000. Who knows,
Oh, maybe more. I mean,
or
especially
more.
In that video, if it flew from someplace to San Francisco, remember? It flew from Salinas to San Francisco, whatever, with flight time and range, and because it flew on the 5G, internet.
On the internet, yeah. So it's great. I mean, it really checks off a lot of boxes. And one of the things they didn't talk about, like thermal cameras, because I know that's something the first responders look for. To find people is have that thermal imaging, and really kind of didn't say anything about that. I'm just kind of curious on that. Richard, I don't know. It could be crazy.
Yeah. Richard's right. It does look like a $60,000 drone.
Yeah. And
5K's on the cheap budget. Yeah. I mean, our audience probably is more interested in what their plans are for more consumer oriented drones and more affordable drones.
Exactly. And one more article before we get to the topic of the evening here. And I saw this out on Drone DJ, and here we go again. Drones are spying on U.S. bases. Congress wants a fix. A recent hearing by U.S. House Subcommittee on Military and Foreign Affairs revealed a troubling surge in unauthorized drone activity over U.S. military installations, posing what officials described as a serious threat to national security. The problem, no single federal agency has the full authority to act when drone crosses into restricted airspace. With multiple departments, Defense, Homeland Security, FAA are involved in drone regulation. There's no unified playbook for stopping rogue aircraft. But here's the kicker. Many of these agencies lack the authority under current law to do anything about it. They don't have 130I admitted someone. We're working on resolving that. We can get 130I implemented at the southern border. It would give commanders an authority to predict and mitigate these threats. So this is kind of like just some posturing and conjecture as far as
Bill, I mean, we've all seen movies and whatever. If an Air Force base or most military bases have their own airplanes, if they see a aircraft coming in airspace, they put fighter jets up to investigate.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So I
you know,
mean,
we were,
why would an Air Force base, basically be worried about drones? They could just put a jet up and easily take it down.
well, you know, and this, you know, the article here, you know, I'm a little confused because they're saying they don't know who would be responsible for it. Well, let me tell you this: if I were to go down to there's a place called Apollo Beach, which is about 6 miles away, and then about maybe 3 miles right across the bay is MacDill Air Force Base. Okay, if I were to be so adventuresome as to fly my Air 3S over there, okay, that drone would not be coming back. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
All
and they
right.
would not have to call the police or any other authorities. They could take care of that situation themselves. They don't need anybody's help.
Exactly, Ron. So I don't know why drone DJ state or why these, you know, congressmen or whoever stated in the article, well, it's the FAA. Well, no, it's the Homeland Security. No, it's this agency, it's that agency. Well, you know what? Okay, I can tell you this. If you're flying over a US Air Force base or an Army base or a Navy base, all right, you're not getting your drone back. I
Yeah,
can tell you that right
yeah,
now. They'll bring that
and
down.
those places you talked about, Air Force bases, whatever, they don't need Congress's help in securing their
No.
airspace.
No, it's their airspace. It's their, you know, wherever, you
They
know,
have
whether
all
it's
the
Navy.
tools to eliminate the threat.
Oh, yeah. They have things out there that will take care of that. All right. And God forbid if, you know, if that drone isn't thoroughly destroyed and they can find a serial number on it, they're going to come for you. All right. I mean, they'll be very serious about it. You know, one of the things I can say about my other hobby, ham radio. All right. If you go out there as a rogue operator and be on frequencies either you should not be on, or if you're not licensed at all, they will find you. I can tell you that right now. And unlike, you know, they're not afraid to take people to court and to fine them. Okay. Things like that. So, you know, this is the same thing here. You don't want to mess with this kind of stuff. And I don't think many, Ron, I can tell you this 99% of the people in our audiences, even higher probably, won't even think about something like this.
Well,
Okay.
look at Intel Multi-Rotors comment. Homeland Security should already have anti-jamming guns to drop those rogue drones out of the sky.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure they do. And
Yeah, I mean, so
yeah,
Congress is just, I mean, they're just wasting time to get on to some issue that needs to be fixed. I mean, again, these military bases can defend themselves already.
yeah, there's more pressing issues that we have here than this. I mean, you know, because like we have just said for the past 5 minutes, military can take care of itself. Okay. They're not going to have any problems. All right. I can tell you that right now. You know, it's like, let's see about you trying to fly. And here's a real big example. Let's see you trying to fly a private plane near the White House. Okay. How
Right,
quickly you'll be met by some United States Air Force jets. All right. It
right,
won't happen. All right. They have orders to shoot planes down like that, standing orders. I mean, there's
right.
no question about it. So, all
Yeah.
right.
So
Well,
no rogue drone is any real threat to any military base.
exactly. 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 So, okay. All right. What we're going to do now is let's see here. Okay. Did I get this one? Yeah, I got that one. Okay. Let's go here. All right. That's not the first article I want to get. There we go. All right. I got so much up there. I'm having to try to find them here.
Like Recovery Drone says here, Dre, he says a lot of this nonsense is about lining up votes for the upcoming bills.
Dre, you're 100% spot on, my friend. 100%. Yeah, that's what that is. They're posturing. You know, they want to puff their chests out and they want to look good in front of their constituents and all
Pretend they
that.
know something about drones, which they
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. They exactly. They don't know. They don't know squat about drones here. Okay, DJ, I'm just gonna get my banner up here so we know. Okay, we're hitting the Mavic 4 Pro part of our show, and this is going to be the last show before the release because Spin Your World, 13 May 2025, 12 p.m. GMT. And for those of you who want to know what 12 p.m. GMT translates to, that's 8 a.m. Eastern time, just to let you guys know that. And I drop that in the comments and build a drone reviewer in case anybody has that kind of question here. All right.
And that's Greg's meantime, right?
Yes. Yes. Now I'm trying to, where's the, I was trying to find the, okay. I need to.
And folks, this teaser did drop this morning at, it wasn't 8. It dropped before, it dropped, say, at 9 this morning.
Yes, it was out there early this morning.
But not 8. It was more like 9. But you know what, Bill, before you get into this, you know what was unusual, Bill? We didn't get our email the day.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I didn't get an email about this. I just saw it out there on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, all right. And I figured there was an email.
If you follow them on YouTube, it popped up in your YouTube feed. But you know what, Bill? I wonder if it's only us U.S. people that didn't get the email.
That might
the
be
rest of the world
possible.
got the email.
I don't know here.
Don't blink on this teaser, folks.
Don't blink. Let's do again. That was fast. That was,
and of course, that's the flip move that we've talked about for a couple of weeks now. That this drone has over. No other drone has ever seen this. The flip move, something you usually see on handheld gimbals.
Now, you know, DJI did go ahead and put out wrong thing. I was trying to bring that up. Operator error here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Spin Your World, 13 May 2025, 12 p.m. GMT. Notify me. All right. And this was posted out on X today. It says, what we know so far about the rumored Mavic 4 Pro. Hasselblad wide camera, next gen Port third CMOS, 100 megapixel effective pixels up to 60K, 60 HDR or 4K 120, medium telecamera, 70 millimeters, 1/3 CMOS, 48 megapixel effective pixels to 4K 60 HDR, 4K 20, telecamera, 168 millimeters, 1/1.5 inch CMOS, 50 megapixels effective pixels up to 4K 60 HDR. Or 4K 100 here.
Bill, can I stop you there? It seems like the telecamera is the only camera that got like, you know, a physical change to it. It seems like the other ones, like their size and all that's the same. It looks like the tele's the only one that really got a big physical improvement. Now a con for many people is the wide angle went from 24 to 28, so it's not as wide as it was on the Mavic 3 series.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that, and thank you for bringing that up. Primary camera is rumored to have a brighter f2.0 aperture, improving low light performance. Video capabilities may include 6K recording at 60 frames per second, at 4K at 120 frames per second, along with support for D-Log recording for professional grade footage. A Cine version is speculated to include a built-in 2 terabyte SSD for expanded storage, while other configurations come up. That's kind of funny because we talked last week that there was going to be no Cine version on that.
Yeah, a lot of people think that because there's going to be no ProRes or even something compatible to ProRes. So why make a Cine if you're not going to release a ProRes or ProRes type codec?
No,
so we think that model could be not seen next Tuesday.
Yeah, and that may be possible. It might be one of the ones that might be down the road.
Or that version may only be available in other countries. The eliminating the ProRes had something to do with the tariffs and all that. So the city version may be available in other countries.
That's very possible.
It'll have the ProRes.
Yeah, it did say that it'll have a 6654 milliamp hour battery, allowing for a maximum flight time of 51 minutes. Design enhancements include more aerodynamic propellers and advanced cooling system, contributing to longer flight times and better performance in various conditions. Omnidirectional obstacle detection is also being anticipated, including a forward-facing LiDAR sensor. The Mavic 4 Pro is expected to retail at approximately $2,250, while the official launch set for May 13th. The drone will likely be available in various bundles, including Fly More and Creator combos, offering additional accessories like batteries, propellers, ND filters, and a cellular dongle, which we won't get here in the U.S. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip over to the article from Drone DJ. So let me go ahead and do that right now.
Well, what's interesting is Bill's Sci-Fi they were promoting the cellular connection, so they must think they're going to get that approved before the drone comes out, that they're going to be able to release drones with cellular 5G chips in them.
Yeah. Now, I'm almost positive that's not going to be here in the United States. I don't think we'll see that.
But Sci-Fi is an American company. You'd think this would be, basically the first market for their drones, but
that's possible. That's very possible. DJI Mavic 4, first look at the electronic ND filter and stunning footage here. Since the first rumor specs on the Mavic 4 Pro, people excited the possibility of an integrated electronic ND filter. DJI kept this feature well hidden secret. How would this system work? And you can see right here. Here's some first view.
It wasn't that secret, Bill. We've been hearing about this for months.
Yeah, exactly. And now here's some actual pictures right here from the quick start guide, and it shows putting the filters on here and charging the battery, and where everything is on the drone. A week ago, pictures started to emerge of a crashed DJI Mavic 4. Somebody told me without any warning, a Mavic 4 fell out of the sky while flying over a park. The drone dropped. People heard a loud pop because the drone hit the street. Seeing the gimbal was ripped clean of the drone. Interestingly, picture also showed us the gimbal connection for the new electronic ND filter, or END, DJI is trying to keep secret. You can easily recognize the copper dots on the right, and that was up here, right? Okay. Quick start guide shows DJI first END, but it is delayed. Okay. Although DJI did a great job hiding an electronic ND filter from the public, they forgot to hide it from the Mavic 4 Creator Combo Quick Start Guide because it was meant to be sold with that combo. Sadly, rumor has it the END will be delayed until later in May because of technical issues. The manual guide was sent to me by a little bird in the industry. So yes, at least now we do know that the new filter one, Hasselblad END 464, will look. Oh, and before I forget, the END will cost around $220 US dollars and will fit any regular Mavic 4 Pro drone. Okay. And here it looks, there's just a guide for the RC2 Pro right here. And also shown in the quick guide, although the new remote has already been talked about, the newly leaked manual also shows a first guide on every button and connection on the new 7-inch flip-up screen. What stands out to me is that the remote doesn't look that big in real life. I think people will get used to it pretty quick, and many readers replied to my latest tweet that they've been waiting on the vertical screen option, where you can flip that around and end up having a vertical screen. New DJI gimmick, no need for power buttons. We have seen recently with DJI drones, such as the flip, power on-off buttons are a thing from the past. Flipping arms or screens up should be all you need to do to activate your DJI device. Mavic 4 Pro won't be any different. The guide tells us the only thing you need to do to activate your remote or drone is to extend the right arm or flip up the screen, and presto, you can start your flight. What is next? Automatic flight? Oh, wait. Okay. DJI Mavic 4 Pro video footage leaked. I'm not going to play this because I don't want to get dinged for it, but you're welcome to watch this at your leisure as well. And there's more information about that extra update. END now spotted in video. 16 hours after dropping the article, our good friend spotted this video of a Chinese influencer walking his DJI Mavic 4 Pro. But take a good look at the ND filter. It's the new END one. Okay, if you blink, it's gonna go by you here. Let me see if I can blow that up a little bit.
Yeah, we had a still picture of it someplace, but yeah, you can see how that it doesn't have 3 spots cut out. It only has like 2 spots cut out.
Yeah. So, and there's another article here.
No, before you move on too fast, they were promoting that had the ability like to flip the startup, but just by undoing the arms. I mean, that to me that was a hit or miss feature. Not everybody really liked that the drone started up just by unfolding the arms.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not,
and the Flip did have the ability to turn that off too if you did not prefer that.
Yeah, and I think that's something I think people are gonna look forward to, is it being able to do that. Now let's go ahead. There's another article here on Drone XL that I want to go over here. Now, let's see if I'm bringing up the right one here. All right. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. Dr. B's asking, is the rumor of the Mavic 4 delay still being tossed around? Yeah, as of late last night, early this morning, some people were still saying it could possibly be delayed again. But I don't notice that they released the teaser today, Dr. B.
Yeah, I think we would have heard something today, and I think Jasper probably would have posted something about that. This is the article on Drone XL, the spinning gimbal. We've just seen that technical breakdown and expected features. That's probably being a graphic representation of probably the LiDAR that we're seeing right here. Drone XL's take. There's another article here that I want to go over here. Okay, there's a couple here, that I spotted out on X that I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys.
KC Crimefire makes a good point in chat. He said the fact that it looks heavy means it's going to be able to cut through the wind really good, which is an important feature for me.
Yes, that is very true here. Now, DJI Mavic 4 Pro spotted in real 4K 60 frames per second. Includes DJI RC Pro 2 folding and powering off. Again, these are really brief videos, so you're not.
Bill, play the video again and pay very close attention to the very beginning of it. At the very beginning, it looks like somebody's using the regular controller, their DJI RC-2. Oh, this must be a cut-down version. I saw a version where it looked like a guy was holding the regular controller at the very beginning.
Yeah, I
think this is a cut-down version, but I've seen it.
Okay. I think there's one more article I want to share here that I did see today, and I'm trying to find that. I think I'm going to go back to Facebook here because I post everything out here. All right. Yeah. Let's do this one here. Okay. Now, this is from Jasper Ellens posted this out on X, and I wanted to go ahead and share this here.
I'm going to answer Casey Crimefire real fast here. Though that screw flipping is not even really new. That's on the DJI Pocket 3. If you flip the screen into vertical, it puts the camera into vertical shooting mode too. So even that's not really new. That came from another DJI device also.
Well, I have to say this about the controller. To me, Ron, it just like the Phantom 4 Pro V2.0 had that built-in screen, which is which is really, it kind of looked like just a little bit bigger version of an iPhone or an Android phone on it that was permanently built into that controller. So it kind of reminds me of that, although that wasn't collapsible. All right.
Here, and this is supposedly 7-inch, so this puts it on like kind of a small tablet level too. And Bill, we haven't heard one rumor yet about the nits, but I'm going to assume it's going to have at least 1,000 nits. The question is, will it have any more than 1,000?
That's a really good point, Ron. I was wondering the same thing too. Is how bright that screen's going to be, because that's important, especially for like me down in Florida. I need something that's going to be really bright when I'm out there. Like my Android phones work really well. I'm very impressed with that. The controllers that I have right now, they do a pretty good job, but sometimes I do get some glare and I do have to fight that. But I'm hoping it's going to be at least 1,000 nits to take care of it.
I don't think they'll go backwards, but I'm not sure they'll go forward, because DJI's already said a couple times in the past that they think you and I really can't detect more than 1,000 nits.
Exactly here. Now, Jasper says, honestly, it surprises me how much DJI shows in this teaser. The birds told me there are still a lot of problems. And like I said before, some features will be delayed by at least a month. And I will show you detailed video specs tomorrow. Cheers. Okay, so more's coming out tomorrow as far as that's concerned. Now, I went out today and I looked because a couple of people had posted some things. I went out there. I looked at an Air 3S, and it's available. It's can ship. There's no issues with that. It's at a good price. I think it was $15.90 for, they called it a mini creator combo kind of thing to try to cut the price down on that.
Yeah, some people reported that the prices went up. Some people reported that the Air 3S went up to like $23.99, but it was immediately put in sale for $15.99.
Right. Yeah. And I saw, that's exactly why I jumped out there to take a look at that. So, there are some good prices. What I was more concerned about was availability. All right. And seeing how fast you could get them. And I saw it was like a 3-day turnaround. So, I mean,
from DJI, the mothership.
Right. So what that means, they have these units here in stock in the United States. All right. So, and then again, this is something I think the $60,000 question, I think that we're all waiting for, and we'll probably find out maybe a little bit after 7:30-ish next Tuesday morning, is, what the prices are going to be on these. All right. Because, the whole tariff thing is up in the air and nobody's really sure. Nobody's really sure how this is going to hit. What we're going to see next Tuesday morning.
Well, somebody in chats last night in Drone Nation went back to your theory that they're already here in pallets and warehouses, the Mavic 4 Pro.
I think so
too. They got here before the tariffs went into effect. Maybe these early models won't have tariff pricing.
Yeah. And because of that, we know we're not going to have to worry about paying that tariff. Now, taking this kind of a step further here, just to let you know what I'm planning on doing, I'm going to get a base unit, all right? And I may get one more battery with that, but I'll also order a la carte the RC Pro 2. Now, a tip for when you guys are doing something like this, all right? Don't, when you go out there, all right? I'm doing this because this is what, for me, but some of these options may not be available. You may have to get a creator combo to get everything at once here. And as we can see here, the flight time on these batteries is 9 minutes short of an hour. All right.
51 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. And, Ron, I don't know about you, but like with my Mavic 3 Pro, I mean, it has the best battery I have of all my drones. I was up there for almost 40 minutes and I had done everything that I wanted to do and I was coming back. I mean, for me, having a drone up there for 50 minutes or close to an hour, I mean, it's kind of a moot point for what I do. But it may, I mean, if you run a business or you do, a lot of videography, it may be an advantage to you. But for me, I'm only going to get a second battery. I'm not going to get a third battery with this because I don't see that need for me.
I agree. If you're just a pure hobbyist with no ambitions of becoming a Part 1.7 Pro pilot or whatever, that 102 minutes with the two batteries is probably enough.
Yeah. Now,
especially if you're a drone enthusiast like this, I normally go out with several drones in the back of my car. So even if I would run out of time on the Mavic 4, I would just pull out the Mini 4 Pro or the Avata or something else to finish up.
Yeah, you have contingency in hand, and you're smart because you think like that. And also too, if you're running a business like a real estate photography business, which a lot of people do, or say a roofing inspection business, you're going to be prepared for contingencies. All right, you're going to have a backup drone, in there because you're making money from this, and you want to continue.
Yeah, if you're Billy Kyle and you're on the road for 8 to 10 hours a day shooting jobs, I understand why he has 4 or 5 batteries.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be prepared for any contingencies. Things can happen. Batteries can fail. You can have issues with a drone. You want to be prepared to be able to still be able to do your work. All right. And for us that are pure hobbyists, though, it's really not as critical and not as important to do that.
Now, we have heard rumors of a 245 watt charger, a quick charger for these batteries too.
Right.
So I mean, if something like that happened, you could charge up quickly between jobs.
And I think also from if I'm not mistaken with that, it's a parallel charger, so it'll charge, I believe, 2 batteries at the same time.
That's the
So
the hope, yeah.
yeah, that's the hope with this. So if that happens, obviously you can get a car charger, put it in your car, and between your between your assignments, or between your areas of work, you can get that charged up and ready to go by the time you're at your next place.
Or you just stop at a Starbucks and charge up while you're having a coffee. Casey Crime Fighter, let's ask his question. Does the Mavic 4 Pro come with a basic controller? Well, from the leaks and rumors that we've seen, it looks like the base package comes with the DJI RC-2, which is an OcuSync 4 controller. So they say that the OcuSync 4 controller be also compatible with I'm trying to say OcuSync 4 Plus device, even though you won't get the extra range or signal. But that's
right.
Like. The basic looks like it's going to be the RC2 controller.
And thank you for bringing it up, Ron. I think that's important so that people know that what they're going to get with a base package. All right, you need to understand that now.
And that's a fine controller. I mean, of course, anybody would want the RC Pro with a bigger, maybe brighter screen, but the RC2 controller is certainly good for many folks in many situations. In other words, it's not like they're giving you some junky old RC. The RC with no thing on it, no, you have to put your phone on. This RC2 is a very good controller.
A couple things to be prepared about the RC Pro 2. One, it's probably going to be close to $1,000. Just expect that. All right, that's just a guess. That's just pure speculation on my part. Seeing what everything has been priced out so far, with and without packages, it's just a ballpark as far as
we're basing it off the European prices.
Right. We're basing it off of what we've seen over in Europe and what Jasper has provided the Drone XL. So that's how we're getting to these kind of numbers here. And understand too, it may not be available at launch, buying it a la carte. Okay. If you really have to have that, if that's something you have to have, you may have to go for a creator combo and be prepared, because it's going to be some sticker shock with that, because you may be paying for things you might not need. You may only need 2 batteries instead of 3. You might not want the 240 watt charger or the parallel charging station. Okay. And a lot of these other accessories may not be available at launch either. Okay. So, just and understand something too, is if you're serious about this drone, I'd recommend, I know it launches at 8 a.m. officially, but almost always at least probably 15 minutes or so before it goes live out on DJI. So I would get out there, the sooner the better. And, if you're really wanting to get one for your business or as a hobbyist, if you've got that kind of money burning in your pocket, you want to be online at least 15 minutes ahead of the actual quote unquote release date and time, because they usually will go live with something like that. I also think too, Ron, we're only going to see this on DJI. I don't think
that's the important question I was going to ask you. At 8 a.m. or next Tuesday, will it be available to purchase and use any place else but DJI?
Yeah, I don't. I
will
think
be any Amazon or Best Buy or
I don't
photo options.
I don't think we'll see it at Best Buy. Amazon's always a possibility, because I know they've worked with DJI before. Adorama and B&H may be possibilities as well. Other places like DroneWorks could have some possibilities, but for the one, if you're wanting to make sure that you're going to get it, you probably want to stick with ordering from the mothership. All right. Yeah. But again, we're basing this on, not having a sticker shock of a tariff when we go out there Tuesday morning at 7:45 and open the site up, and we're seeing, a drone that we're expecting to be $2,300 be $3,300. Okay. We're basing this on normal pricing, normal availability, normal type of shipping times. Okay. This is what we're going by. And I really kind of think that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. And if it is tariff price or whatever, and DJI doesn't eat some of that tariff, it'll be more than double the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know how much DJI is willing to eat of the tariff prices.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's going to be important to have this understanding on Tuesday morning. All right. So be prepared. Okay. Sit back, be prepared for whatever's going to happen, because we really don't know at this point in time. This is one of these, usually, Ron, what we're saying is, what we've always kind of said before, we've kind of known everything going into it. And, we would come up with saying the old, well, DJI is probably going to throw something out there that hasn't been covered by Jasper or Igor or Ositolev, something that is going to surprise us out there.
Yeah.
Okay. But this time around, it's really kind of like the major, I think, issue or concern, I think, on a lot of people's minds right now is the whole issue with the tariffs and how that's going to affect things.
Yeah, well, availability is way up there too, because many folks believe this drone will not be available for purchase in the U.S. next Tuesday.
And also too, with this whole looming talk of a drone ban coming up, and there's been really kind of no action going on about that, because the clock is running. And if no agency comes through and does anything by the end of the year, it's automatically going to become law. That was written into that bill. So that's why DJI is posturing and trying to get one of these agencies, Homeland Security, FBI.
And DJI also has a lawsuit going against the government too. So
yeah, they sure do, and it's a former Attorney General of the United States is representing them.
So if they went to the right, judge, that judge could stop any action until the trial is decided.
Exactly. So we don't know. That's kind of up in the air. But if you're really wanting to get one of these, you need to be out there early. All right, you need to be out there 7:30, 7:45. Be out there on the site. All right, and I would say this. Don't worry about Amazon or any of the other ones, because you're not 100% sure if you're going through a reseller or DJI directly through them. But if you want to ride it out and wait and see, but if you really have that burning desire to spend that money in your pocket, or you need it for your business, I would be out there at 7:45 on DJI's website and keep refreshing until it comes up. And don't hesitate to place your order to get it in as quickly as possible, because if they're going to go fast is what I'm going to say. All right. Because there's been so much talk and hype about this. It's not been funny. So they will get out there. People will get out there and they'll jump on this very quickly. Is what I'm saying here.
Yeah. No, we said don't just put it in your cart and sleep on it.
Okay,
yeah,
Michael.
Mike Wright says about 1,400. Thumb drone said a while ago that the Matrice 4 controller is $1,600. So 14 sounds like it's about right.
Yeah. Now we want you to also to we're going to kind of do some promotional work here too. I'm going to be on Drone Nation on Monday night as a preview to the coming.
It's our pre-show. How football games have pre-shows. We're going to
have our pre-show on Monday night, and then come Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. we'll be on again, and then come Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock we'll have a wrap up. We'll talk about everything that's transpired during the day's events, also the videos that are out there, and give you kind of a guide of videos to watch, because I know,
and unfortunately, that show could be the good, the bad, and the ugly, maybe.
Exactly. And Ron and I can kind of give you a guide to some of the videos that we like that are out there, because you'll be getting there'll be a lot of videos that will come out. And I think one of the things that I'd like to do on the night of a release, besides obviously going over everything and the pluses and minuses and everything, also give you an idea of some of the videos to watch out there, where you can really kind of get a real feel and flavor for what the Mavic 4 Pro is going to be like. Now, everybody's going to have good videos out there. Okay, everyone who does put these videos out, the content creators out there like Russ or Billy or Ken or Aldrin, they'll put out great videos, and Rick Smith. But what I want to do is kind of steer you in as to some of the videos that I thought really got my attention and really provided a lot of value added, for you, who empower you to make a decision on this. But also too, like I said, I wouldn't hesitate. If this is something that you really want, you need to be out there on Tuesday morning at 7:45. Just keep hitting refresh. And then at 8 o'clock, make sure that you have us on, because we're going to be live. We're going to be talking through the release live, and also take a look at some of the videos that popped up. If they're available on any other sites, we'll let you know that as well too. And we'll give you our reaction. Hopefully no tariff issue. Hopefully availability is good. Anything else, Ron, comes to mind?
No, I mean, unfortunately, in years past, we've looked forward to seeing like the final specs of stuff on the drone or whatever. But this year, we're looking more towards pricing and availability than we are any spec in particular, because already I think Josh has put it out there that a couple of people have, that it doesn't look like the camera specs are that bumped up here. So we may not see a giant increase in image, good images or whatever over the Mavic 3 Pro. A lot of the improvements are coming in like flight time and the gimbal performance and things like that. So this may, if they're right, this may be more of a, I don't know, a Mavic 3 Pro S super duper than it is a full, I mean, the body's different, so it will be full. But again, the camera could be the greatest camera we've ever seen, but by the specs, it looks like just a bump rather than a revelation.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. For me, what I'm seeing here, I think the big, my dad would say, a gimmick as far as a new product was concerned. Well, if you want to, I'll use that word here. The gimmick on this is the gimbal. All right. Because, everything else that we're seeing on here, it's just advancing the technology from the Mavic 3 Pro. Obviously, the obstacle sensing, the AI, that kind of thing, OcuSync, battery time, everything. We're incrementally, we're building up. DJI always goes forward. They don't go backwards as far as advancements, as far as the technology is concerned. But I think the real thing here, and the real catch and the real draw for this drone is that gimbal. And I think that's what's going to draw people into this drone. And that's why they're going to want this drone.
Yeah, Bill, let me just give the folks a little bit of a history lesson here real quick. The Mavic Pro had like that 1.3 sensor, the old smaller sensor, right? Good drone, but had a little smaller sensor. Then we got the Mavic 2 Pro. We got our 1-inch sensor finally, Bill, and we got a big increase in video and photo production. I mean, it was worlds better, right? It wasn't even close. And then we got the Mavic 3, with the 4/3 camera. Again, we got a significant bump in video quality and photos. But now we're going from a 4/3 sensor to another 4/3 sensor. So this is the first time the Mavic's ever just used the same sensor 2 generations in a row. So just keep that in mind. I mean, what they do, they put better image processors. They got better software, so it's going to look better. But is it going to look generationally better, like we saw from, say, especially from the Mavic Pro to the Mavic 2 Pro? We saw a huge generational type increase, and I don't know if we're going to see it this time around.
Yeah, I think that's pretty really good point there, Ron, because and I think probably for me, and how I'll answer that is, I think this was something DJI, I don't want to use the word rushed, but I think if push came to shove, they probably wanted a better camera on this. I think this is what was available at the time, because I think, they were under the gun to get this out at least by mid-year, to be able to get enough sales, in case a ban would hit next year. And I think they probably just maybe kind of got this out here a little bit before it was baked, so to speak. Because you're right, as far as the camera improvements from the original Mavic Pro to the Mavic 2 Pro, the Mavic 3 Pro, it was noticeable. Each one had its differences. I mean, you remarked when we were at Reddington Beach what a difference it was from the Mavic Pro to the Mavic 2 Pro.
Tremendous jump, Bill.
Yeah, and it was just, it was that much better. And how from the Mavic 2 to the Mavic 3, it was that much better. But now here, you brought up a good point. So a lot of people, if you really, if you have that money and you want to have that itch, go ahead and spend it. But, what all you get, see what you're getting. Okay. You know, if you have to have it on day one, get it on day one. But if you can sit back and take a look at it and compare it, and, you know, the videos that I'm going to be really interested in is how a Mavic 4 Pro is going to compare to a Mavic 3 Pro, what you're going to see there. All right.
And if you purchased the Mavic 3 Pro recently, is there enough here that warrant that upgrade? I don't know. It could be. I don't know. We won't know until release date.
Exactly. We won't really know until release date. And also, too, like I said, to be watching out for some of the content creators who will have videos out there that will compare a Mavic 3 Pro with a Mavic 4 Pro side by side, same place, same time of day. So you have an idea of exactly what those videos are going to look like. And those are the kind of videos that I think are ones that I look for on launch day, because I think that really says a lot about that drone.
And check those video quality on like your big screen TV, because on your phone you won't be able to see the difference between
exactly either that or like, you know, like my 27-inch or my 30-inch monitor here. Right. You know, it's a big monitor, something that you can watch where you can that 4K is going to really pop out at you. That would be something that I would really recommend. So, all right, we're done. We're done with drone talk. It's time to talk football.
My final thoughts are what's this about the Panthers being down 0-1 already?
It was a crazy game last night.
Say it ain't so.
Toronto was up 4-1, and then the Panthers got to within 4-2, and then they scored another goal, and it was 5-2. And then the Panthers scored 2 more goals to make it 5-4. And it got really close at the end. It was like that. It was opposite first periods. Toronto came out flying, the Panthers not so much. But then the Panthers in the third period came out flying, and it was insane at the end.
Is the Panthers' defensive goaltending? Are they suspect now? They gave up all those goals?
No, it was just they got caught flat-footed because Toronto came out. They were really charged up. They were playing at home. I mean, it was 30 seconds into the game and they scored. I mean, and it was one of these goals that was a seeing eye goal that it was 1,000,000-to-1 shot that came in there. But that's all you need. You get that first goal and look out, and the floodgates kind of came open for a little bit there. So, and there was a controversial play last night too. Really wasn't controversial. There was starting goaltender for Toronto. He got hit with a puck and it literally knocked his mask off. And later on in the second period, one of the Panther players bumped by him and he fell down, but they said he had already had a concussion from when that puck hit him and knocked that mask off, because people who are concussion spotters recognize some of the signs early on. He went over to the bench and he puked, and they took him to the hospital last night after the game. But they released him. Apparently he's probably going to be under concussion protocol, but they were really raking the coals over the Panther player for hitting him with an elbow. And the replay showed he didn't hit him with his elbow. He hit him with his forearm, and it was a bump. It wasn't anything more than just me walking past you and just bumping you accidentally kind of a thing. No force at all with that. So yeah, that lit up X today. Everybody was on their high horse about that today on X. So, but they play tomorrow night at 7. So we'll see.
Where's that game at, Bill?
That's going to be up in Toronto. Games 1 and 2 are in Toronto. 3 and 4 will be down in Florida here, down in Sunrise. So I expect Panthers will come out flying on Tuesday or tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I think it'll be a much better game for them. I think they'll be prepared. So we'll see.
Back to drone talk just for a second. A couple of guys in the chat, Josh and a few people, Steve Janez, there's going to be a New England drone meetup, like the first weekend in September, I believe. I believe Ray told me it's in Pawtucket or whatever. So just everybody be aware there's a fall drone meetup coming up in the New England states.
Okay.
It may be a good time to go up and see some fall foliage.
Okay, Trey. We're looking on May 13th, which will be a week from today. It'll be at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And look for us on Drone Nation that morning. We're going to be going over everything. So stay tuned for that. Be sure. And then, of course,
we'll probably be able to tell you exactly how the order process goes by the time we get.
Yeah, by the time we get on the air, we'll let you know how things are going. And I'm hoping it's going to be smooth. I'm hoping it's going to be a smooth release. Fingers are crossed.
But no guarantees.
Yeah, no guarantees at all. And like I said, and I can't say this enough, if you really want one, be out there about 7:30, 7:45 and hitting that refresh button. That's all I can tell you right now. Just do that and have your plastic or whatever, your piggy banks ready at that time to do that. So
back to hockey for a second. If the Panthers take out you say it's Toronto Maple Leafs,
mm-hmm.
will that advance them to the Stanley Cup, or will that just be to the semifinal?
No, there's 4 rounds to get to the Stanley.
Oh wow.
There's the second round. The third round is the finals for there's an Eastern final and a Western final, and the fourth round is actually the Stanley Cup finals.
Will they be meeting either the Penguins or Flyers in that third round?
No, they won't, because the Penguins and Flyers did not make the playoffs again. I think the Flyers have been 5 years in a row. Tortorella got fired, and very interestingly, Mike Sullivan, the head coach of the Penguins, got fired as well too, which is, I think, unfortunately long overdue. They're in a sad state of affairs because they're waiting on their 3 superstars to retire from Pittsburgh. So it's going to be until they retire, they won't really be able to truly get that team rebuilt. It's kind of where we're at as far as that's concerned. So no real Steeler talk at all the past week or so. I really haven't seen
slow week. Yeah, all quiet on the Aaron Rodgers front, huh?
Yeah, still all quiet on the Aaron Rodgers front, and just at this point, I'm like, whatever, whatever, and I'm resigned to the fact that they'll probably, what they'll probably do, and there's been strong talk has been lately on Pittsburgh radio sports talk shows, is they're thinking about signing Kirk Cousins, and I'm like, oh God.
They got to trade for him. Atlanta never released him. He's still in Atlanta, so I think Atlanta's asking for a 4th round draft pick for him.
Yeah, so of course, and they'll probably do that. I think that probably
he comes with a contract that pays the big money too.
I think that's probably the way they're going to go with this.
I mean, at least Cousins won't be as much drama. You bring in Aaron Rodgers. Well, at least if you bring in Aaron Rodgers, it'd be interesting because he's like bringing a soap opera to town. Cousins is a little bit more, he's not as interesting.
There'll be a media circus.
He'll come in and keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, there'll be a media circus with Aaron Rodgers. You bring Kirk Cousins in, he'll be able to concentrate and play football because that's what you want to do.
And we'll bring Rodgers. You bring Rodgers, everything will be nicey between him and Tomlin and everything. But as soon as something goes wrong,
look out.
Rodgers is going to point fingers at everybody.
Oh yeah, and it'd be real interesting because how many coaches Rodgers got fired from the Jets?
He'll throw Tomlin under the bus quicker than you can.
Oh yeah. So maybe like I've said before, maybe it would be good to get Rodgers.
Coach killer, yeah, bring the coach killer.
Who knows? I have no idea, but yeah, there's really the news has been kind of stale as far as the Steelers.
You always talk about Tomlin with his coach speak, his odd things. Tomlin's sort of a modern day Yogi Bear. Remember Yogi Bear, when he managed, he used to always played and managed. He always made odd comments.
Oh yeah, he was the king of those. When you see a fork in the road, take it kind of thing. And
he always had something. He was always saying something nobody else was saying.
Yeah, and just crazy, absolutely crazy stuff. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just sitting back and waiting for whatever's going to happen and let it. Let it go.
If Rodgers comes in, at least it'll be interesting here.
That's true. That's very true. So, any other closing thoughts here, Ron?
We're just doing this Mavic 4 watch. In fact, Bill, we said last night there really wasn't much Mavic 4 updates for the past week. It's been all the DJI 360 camera that got all the press over the weekend. Apparently, Igor, all of them had a bunch of leaked images of the 360 camera, which would supposedly rival the newest of 360 X5, even though it looks more like GoPro's older 360 camera that's 4 or 5 years old at this point.
Right. I did see that on Eager on X today. So
kind of odd for DJI to get in the 360 camera this late in the game, but I don't know if there's enough fans of 360 camera out there that support 2 different ones.
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be very interesting. And again, as I talked about, because Drone DJ had an article that compared the two new Insta360 cameras pricing and specs and everything before you joined me. But my thing on that was, and again, is how I think for a lot of people they would probably get one, but processing that video is a real challenge, and I think that's something that I think that holds up people from buying.
Yeah, well, that's what DJI. That's how DJI can get their edge. If the Fly app or whatever, what do they call the Osmo app, could have some kind of built-in AI that would kind of self-edit the video for you. That may be, because otherwise they're stepping into a market that's dominated by Insta360, and Insta360 has a mature product out there. So it's kind of hard for a first effort to knock off a very mature product right out of the gate. I'm not saying they can't do it, but it won't be easy.
Yeah, I agree, Ron. I agree. It's going to be a real challenge for them to step up to the plate with this. I mean, they've done pretty well in some of the things that they've come out that have been unique, like
they jumped into the action camera field and with both feet in, and they've really leveled up with the big players. But
yeah, we'll see how all this pans out. So, all right, guys, that's it for tonight. Guys, have a great rest of your week, and as always, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.